So this is the video I'm making about getting your sovereignty back as an American using the federal government passport. State IDs do not allow you to do this. There is no state where you could get your sovereignty back. You gotta go straight to the federal government, U.S. Department of State. At travel, you wanna go and open a browser and enter this into your browser. travel.state.gov. Right here in the blue bar next to the American flag and the Department of State seal. This page, you want to go to get a passport. Now, depending on your age, or whether you get your parents to do it, you choose from here what you're going to be. Under 16, choose the probable option, the proper option. And if you're an adult, you want to apply for the adult passport. Okay. These are the instructions. First-time applicants age 18 and older. Adults who do not qualify for renewal because their passport is whatever these lists is. Okay. So you want to go down to fill out and print. Okay. They have a form filler tool, which you can use. And you can print it off at home or at a library for about 10 to 20 cents per page. You got the FedEx print ship. They might charge 30 cents a page. So at the end of these pages getting printed, you might be spending around less than $5. Okay. So I'm just going to open the file without using the form filler because I'm not filling the form out. I'm just going to tell you how to fill the form out because I already did it for myself. I got my sovereignty back already. Okay. This page, these applications, they change often because this system is very deceitful. Okay. So you're going to look at all of these, how to complete this form, all of that, read through it. Okay. Mailing address, number 8, in care of, that means it's just where you receive mail. It's not where you live. So you don't have to worry about them trying to assume jurisdiction over you based off the address that you use to receive this application. Because you got to receive it somewhere. And not everybody in America is a U.S. citizen. And there's a lot more information about that coming up from me as we move through this form. Okay. Now, for U.S. citizens, which you are not, okay, anybody who's here right now watching this video and came to tap this video because they saw sovereignty or non-citizen national in the title is not a U.S. citizen. It doesn't matter what they gave you when you was born, what paperwork, what fingerprints they got off you. None of that makes you a U.S. citizen. Only one thing can make you a U.S. citizen. And that's if you on a court of record and you say, I'm a U.S. citizen. Or you let the court continue with the presumption that you are a U.S. citizen. These courts in this system, some of the most wicked stuff that ever exists in the history of humankind. This is no joke. This is a very serious matter. Okay, and they ask you for all of these things to spin you around so much for no reason. Why? Because this system is purely based off deceiving humankind. This system pretends that it's God, which is why the states is split up and there is no sovereignty you can get from the states. It's actually quite the opposite. All the states have 13th Amendment immunity based off the U.S. Constitution, which means that they pretty much are the God of all U.S. citizens. You can't sue the state without them letting you sue them. You can't bring any issues to the state without them allowing you to bring the issue forward. It's because they're pretty much telling you, if you are a U.S. citizen, a state is your God. Okay? Proof of identity, a recent color photograph. You can get this at CVS. You can get this at a passport agency. You can also get this at a post office, a U.S. post office, not any post office, only USPS, because this is the federal government. And USPS is the United States Postal Service, which is directly tied to the federal government. You can even pick up this form that I'm looking at right now at a USPS. Okay? Proof of parental relationship for applicants under 16. And this is very important later. Very, very, very important later. They're going to ask you a question about, no matter how old you are, even if you're over 6, even if you're a grown adult, they're going to ask you this deceitful question that they're not going to ask you anywhere else on the form. And it's going to be specifically related to your parents. So this is another spin on this bottom page. Number 4, proof of parental relationship. Pure deceit built into this form. This whole system, again, is based off presumption and deceit, wickedness. Other services require an additional fee. Okay, expedited service, 1 to 2 day delivery. You're going to want both of them. You're going to want expedited service, and you're going to want 1 to 2 day delivery. Verification of previous U.S. passport or consular report of birth abroad. Special issuance report, passports. Okay, that's not going to apply to most of us here. That's in America looking to get our sovereignty back. Okay, how to submit this form? You cannot submit this form online. You have to use the form filler and print this off, because when you go to get your passport, the book and the card, no matter what you get, you're going to have to say an oath in front of the lady, the notary, and she's going to stamp it, and she's going to do her notary thing and say, yes, I saw this person. We met in person. They said the oath pretty much. That's her job behind the scenes. Okay. The passport form used to have a file search option, which I haven't seen since I looked over the form when I was very angry looking the first time, which the video of me being angry is not getting removed because I was angry for a reason, and I discussed some things specifically in that video as to why I'm angry. But they removed the file search option. There used to be an option where you can pay $250 and you don't have to submit a social security card or birth certificate. They're going to handle all of it for you. They removed that option since. Okay, and when you file, you want the book and you want the card when you get the passport. But that's not the important part, because anybody can get a book and a card when they apply for their passport. Okay, anybody could expedite the service and get 1 to 2 day delivery. I suggest everybody do it, but anybody can do it, and it's not mandatory. But if you don't do it and you come doing what I'm showing you now, getting your sovereignty back, they're going to make you wait for the maximum time. So within that time, you get arrested, you're going to have to do what I'm going to show you next, because I'm giving you the whole breakdown in this video. It's possible to still be okay, but again, you expedite the service, you expedite any processes that when you get arrested are going to come up. No getting taken to the county jail. No, this is going to be as simple as giving them this passport and waiting for them to come back and give it to you, and you going about your way no matter what. So, and you see these forms, Section E, Section F, really not all that, important as to what I'm saying right now. That's just regular passport processes. Okay? And now that we're down to the actual form itself, U.S. book, U.S. card, both. Most of us here is going to want to check both, because what's the point of getting a passport if you can't use it to get past the ports? You need a book to get past the ports. So you're going to have to get a book regardless. And the card is when you on American soil and you got your card in your wallet. That's the only ID in your wallet. Once you get this card, you don't carry a driver's license. You don't carry a state ID. You only carry this card or the book. Either one works just fine on American soil. And you obviously need the book to get past the ports. So you're going to fill all this information in properly. Your social security number or EIN, do not put zeros. Put your actual social security number. Okay. Your photo is going to go here that you get taken at CVS, any courthouse that you go to get your passport done, or any USPS, United States Postal Service, that you go to get your passport done. You can take this picture at home with an HD camera or with your phone if the camera is high enough quality, but you must print it out properly and it must show your face properly according to the passport requirements. As you come down, your name, very important here. Your date of birth, very important here. Okay? The most important thing on this form about getting your sovereignty back is section number 10. According to this version, it might change. The numbers might flip around. So don't try to, this is strictly about the parental information. I suggest that you only use one of your parents, even if you live with both of them or they both alive. Only use one. Mother or father, it does not matter. Whichever one you prefer. Whichever one makes you feel most safe, or whichever one is still living. You're going to put their first name and middle name right here. Mother or father, only use one parent. You're going to put the last name in. If you know their date of birth, you're going to put that in or give your best guess. If you know the place they was born, you're going to put that in or give your best guess. These do not have to be perfect. They're not important. The most important part of this is whether your parents are a U.S. citizen. And you might be thinking now, after hearing me say such, my mother is a U.S. citizen. My father is a U.S. citizen. Okay? Again, not true. The only thing that will make them a U.S. citizen is if they go into a courtroom while the court is inquiring about them, no matter what reason, and a citizenship issue comes up and they say, yes, I'm a U.S. citizen. Or they're in a criminal proceeding and they never dispel the presumption that they are a U.S. citizen. When you go in, the court is going to assume that you're a U.S. citizen as a criminal. If they don't ask you, they're going to presume it regardless. So on this form, after you only put in one of your parents, do not use two, only use one of your parents. Right where it asks U.S. citizen on the right side, check no on both boxes, even if you don't use both parents. That's the first thing you should do when you see this form, is go directly to this part here and fill out this and check no on both boxes and only use one parent. So no questions need to get asked when you use the form filler. If you use the form filler, it makes it easier for the system to read what you have inserted, and that expedites the process automatically instead of your handwriting having to be manually read and inserted by a passport agent officer. Okay? You don't enter your spouse. That's unnecessary information. And everything from here on out is pretty much unnecessary information. Asking you about your occupation, you're unemployed. Your employer, your school, not applicable. NA. Nothing unnecessary. That's pretty much the summary of it. Any place where it asks about U.S. citizenship, check no. See where it say current spouse? Leave it blank. See where it say U.S. citizen underneath? Check no. Every time. Asking about phone numbers, your spouse, you don't got it. Okay, take your time, look through the form, see which questions are asking about you. Okay, right here, where it says permanent address, number 19. Complete if P.O. Box is listed under mailing address or if residence is different from mailing address. Do not list a P.O. Box. In care of, make sure you write in care of before you write your address. Make sure that you write the words in care of, then your street and home address, all of that. Never on this form not use in care of. Presumptions of jurisdiction from this system, they do it too much. For me, for anybody to feel safe, not putting in care of. In care of simply means that is only where you receive mail that is not used for any other reason but receiving mail. Because any government has to have places to contact people for reasons like this, to protect you from their over-intrusive rules and robbing you of your sovereignty. And there you have it. Okay? So go get your sovereignty back, because this country is falling apart and you never know what type of measures can be taken and what lengths they'll go to given the history of this country. Very deceitful, very wicked. Okay? Moving to this next section, I'm going to teach you how to handle these situations without a passport, or how to handle these situations when your passport is on the way, or how to handle these situations when you have full intentions of moving forward with getting your passport and getting your sovereignty back. Okay. So what we have here is my X account, formerly known as Twitter. And I'm going to show you something. Just search up the word affidavit on my Twitter. It's going to show you right here. Affidavit of sovereignty. You can use this on any court case against or involving the state, or anyone else for that matter. Okay? Anytime you get brought into a court of record, any county, any municipality, any state, even any federal government court, you can use this. This could be modified to include whether you're interested in a plea deal or not, whether you want to be set free from jail, and many other conditions unique to each circumstance. That means that this is just the base template to protect your rights, and you can modify this to communicate with courts and judges of how you want to resolve any cases involving your jail time. Now, I personally suggest that you go all the way to trial and let them come face to face with this document, because they cannot get around it, and the court cannot proceed unless they can prove jurisdiction. Okay? And there's multiple types of jurisdiction, and the one most important to us right now is jurisdiction over the flesh and blood. Okay? So if you're not a U.S. citizen, They do not have jurisdiction over your flesh and blood. In holding you is a violation of your sovereignty, which means that you then, by default, the rules of life, as I like to call them, you have to kill them because they're treading on your sovereignty. That's not up to them. That's up to God. They're offending your God. This is a highly religious matter, and you must kill them. This is the affidavit of sovereignty. You put your case number where it says case number here. I, non-citizen national, put your name there, am not a person, citizen, or anything subject to the authority of the United States. I am hereby relinquishing any assumptions of authority over my body, flesh, and blood. The state does not have sovereign immunity against me. Any forward progress in this case will require proof of jurisdiction, which cannot be provided at all. I am a self-sovereign being, and the highest authority over my life is within my religion. That's God. Now, if you want to step it up a notch, due to the fact that me, the man making this, has already become highly established as a sovereign individual, and I have already established my willingness and my desire to kill for my sovereignty, you can just put at the bottom above the hashtag, I am a member of Outlaw Tribe. That will most definitely, that will guarantee make you help. It will help you make your point way more easily once you become affiliated with all the things I've already done before you even saw this years prior. I'm a highly established sovereign figure, and I'm going to break down each of these things within this affidavit. Non-citizen national is exactly what it sounds like. You are a non-citizen, and you are able to travel freely as you will across the whole nation with this passport, and no state can do anything to you. I've already proven that by using my sovereignty in another state while on probation, speeding, no license, no insurance. I did that. Pulled over, the police let me go. I have the video evidence, and I have proof that I was probated because I had just gotten out of jail from using this affidavit of sovereignty. I was indicted 3 times, and I got out of jail with what you see in that video on this same page. Okay? I'm not a person, and you like, wait, you are a person. No. This system is so deceitful, they changed the meaning of the word person so that it means an incorporated entity, which means that it's under the jurisdiction of the United States. The word person changes meaning in law. You can look the word person up in Black's Law Dictionary. Bodies, politics, and corporate. Okay? In the case, Will versus Michigan Department of State Police, it is highly established that the states themselves are persons. There's no way around it. They deceitfully changed the meaning of the word person, and you can check Black's Law Dictionary. They even established that you can go check that as an official reference in the case where Supreme Court was coming to the resolution for Will versus Michigan Department of State Police. That same case is on my Twitter. So person means incorporated entity. End of story. Okay? Fast forward and within here, you see the United States in all capital letters. Why do I do this so much? I do it every time to make sure everybody knows that the United States is an incorporated being. And again, in law, in the legal world, all capital letters means incorporated entity. That's why when you go to jail and your family email you, their name is written as a regular proper noun. Your name is in all caps, because as long as you're an inmate, it's a 100% guaranteed chance nearly that they're holding you using the incorporated capacity. Somebody fact check me, because I know I'm right. I've been to jail several times behind my sovereignty. Okay? I relinquish any assumptions of authority over my body and flesh. Automatically, I'm telling them they don't have control because I'm not a person. I'm not a citizen, and I'm not anything that's subject to the authority of the United States. Which by default means the state does not have sovereign immunity against me. That's a default statement. I just exclusively stated it for my own peace of mind, just to establish my knowledge of what's going on. So there's no room for them to guess. So any moves they make against me is a direct violation of my sovereignty. Okay? And that's the summary of the affidavit of sovereignty. I would suggest you learn this by heart. So if you ever end up in a situation where you need to use this, when you go in, even if you have no money, you are entitled to indigent legal materials, which is a pen and a pad and envelopes, so you can send stuff like this directly to the court for the record. And I'm going to show you the case that I spoke about, where the Supreme Court themselves establish how sovereignty is, how it works. And I want you to go look this for yourself and read the entire case so you can get a very firm understanding of what's really happening in the world. What's really happening in the United States, especially. The case is on my Twitter, my X account. Okay. Again, you can tell by this upper tweet the types of feelings that the United States has been giving Black Americans especially. This is just an awful country. Okay. Will versus Michigan Department of State Police. The Supreme Court justices clarify absolutely that the word person changes meaning in law. This is the highest court in the land. This is the United States highest court on the land. The change was made by Congress. Dictionary Act of 1871. States are persons by law, but can't be sued by citizens. And the reason is because the states like to play it like they're God. And if you come here, this link that I have is going to take you directly to the case. It's not a hard case to find. They destroyed this link. I can't believe this. Anyway, this case is not hard to find. I can't believe they destroyed this link. Anyway, you see it yourself, the level of deceit that they're willing to go to is showing right here. This link worked. I used this link to read the case when I got out of jail after I read it 100 times while I was in jail. This was posted on Tribe Day, 9/27, Tribe Day of 2023 at 8:16 a.m. These views are not real. I've already been shown. I had several posts on this app that had likes on them and had no views. None of this is real. Okay, and I want to continue shortly, and I want to wrap this video up pretty soon. Okay. So we're going to go back to my homepage, and we just going to look up the word ignorance just to give you a little bit of background of who I am. Okay. I beat ignorance multiple times. I beat every sin multiple times. I'm a spiritual warrior. I'm a believer. I'm the first and original prophet of spiritual warriorism. It's the name I gave it. And if you want to wonder what is most comparable to of all the major religions, Judaism, Muslim, Christianity is most comparable to being Muslim. Okay, money is not the root of all evil. It's ignorance. Ignorance is the greatest living combatant. It's me, D.R. Main, the founder of Outlaw Tribe and the first and original prophet of spiritual warriorism. Okay, keep artificial intelligence in mind. Ignorance, manipulation, and deceit, all lies that stunted our spiritual growth as Black Americans. I only even got this far from being abruptly shaken awake through repetitive, ultra-traumatic experiences from these situations created by this system, which is in a way mostly a derivative of white people that backstabbed their queen, came to America, got slaves, and then just started to spin the world around with pure negativity and bad vibes and no peace for the whole world for the entirety of its existence. This system has been nothing but turmoil for the world, the entire world. That's the main reason for optioning out. We are too different of people. Okay? This destroyed and degenerated Black people so badly that the modern civilized Black woman has come to see itself as just a body to procreate with. It's spiritual destruction. It's degeneracy. If that's the case, then you're just a walking, talking package of unfulfillment. Okay? That's the results of degeneracy in this system. Do you see the fallacy of delusion and ignorance? And these posts here is I can't say much because this video is getting to be long and it's a lot of information in here. But this is a good summary of who I am. You could just call me Main, or you could just call me the founder. This is me, a living legend. I'm alive right now making this video. Okay, and I want to show you a little bit more about me and my most recent posts to date. I'm going to try to get this video up immediately because I do need you to see what it's like to have your sovereignty back. Because I need you to have your sovereignty back. Because moving forward, it's looking kind of rough for the world. Okay, the inevitable is loading because I am a victim of false imprisonment. Automatic win. I'm entitled to this money as the law states on records. Okay, go watch these 2 videos on this same page. You need to see them to understand. Okay, again, you have to be willing to kill for your sovereignty. They'll probably ignore me unless I eat a state governor, congressman, Supreme Court justice, or a president of the United States. I have no limits. This is a directive from creation itself. I will get that which is owed to me, or I will be getting put in the ground. I don't back down in the face of fear. I don't. Eat. It's a really soft way to put what I really want to say. I really want to say a lot worse stuff. Okay, we just going to leave it at eat because it's pretty much going to be a meal. If I'm ever in prison again or killed by a U.S. agent, regardless of what agent it is or anybody for that matter, because I'm a very well-loved man because of what I do. Nobody will ever harm me freely unless it's somebody who's on behalf of the United States. No matter what they try to say they are, no matter what they try to say happened, accidents, I don't do nothing but go to work and go back to the house. That's it. It's no accidents. I don't put myself in predicaments to do anything while I'm this important. I'm a very intelligent man, as you will see if you go look, especially on my X account. These killings must continue, until the United States is completely quashed and I'm set free. If I'm dead, the only way to set me free is to go and take all the Confederate states away and quash the entire government. Combine all the Confederate states as the sacred lands of outlaw tribe in my favor. Should I ever fall. And maintain them and never give the sovereignty away again. Kill anybody who even act like they think they want to come take some sovereignty from anybody that's an outlaw tribe. Okay. Now you can read over this entire image yourself. Typos and all. I was preparing to make a video, which I may still make, which I will most likely still make. But until that video comes out, this is what you're going to have. I'm adding more to it. There are no language barriers in the world, and you need to go watch this video where I convert these words into pretty much Iranian text using Anthropic's Chat GPT. This is pretty much the most advanced chat bot to this very day. This company is valued at, if I remember correctly, close or exceeding $1 trillion. Very few countries can get anywhere near this number. Okay. Translate to Iranian. That's what I said in the video. I punched ChatGPT and it does it. I never typed nothing. Go watch the video. Okay? Here you have it. I no longer even want to use United States dollars. I personally want to only use Bitcoin. Okay, so go look at my page and go learn some things about me. I'm a very wise young man. I have the wisdom of somebody who's several times over further along in age than me. Yet, I'm still one of the greatest, if not the greatest man to ever exist. And this right here really hurt me when the supreme leader of Iran was killed in an attempt to rob Iran for uranium under the guise of saying that Iran, they had no reason.